Welcome to Inland Empire Alive, bringing you issues, events, and perspectives from throughout San Bernardino and Riverside counties. I'm David Brady, and on today's show, I'll welcome Aaron Brinker and Francine March to talk about the mission of the Inland Empire Children's Book Project. That's today on Inland Empire Alive. Well, books can change lives, and here to talk about the impact of books on the lives of children are two folks devoted to making books, to put books in the hands of kids in our local community, Aaron Brinker and Francine March from the Inland Empire Children's Book Project. Ladies, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us.
So tell me about the mission of the project and how it got started originally.
So our mission is simply to put books in the hands of kids, and it was started by community activists, community engaged people who from all different fields, from accounting to engineering to education, who saw that there was a need for kids to have books in their homes. First Book, a study from First Book shows that 61% of low-income kids have no books in their homes, none. And that trend has been persistent, especially with the advent of phones and the increases, people using technology rather than books in their homes, which are largely video. There's nothing wrong with that if there's a balance of reading and videos in your home. And so back in 2013, we started having conversations, brought community leaders and education leaders together, from school district superintendents to university presidents to business leaders, and they thought, well, how can we tackle this problem? How do we get books in the hands of kids? So this is modeled after the East Bay Children's Book Project, and their founder, Ann Katz, came down and spoke to this group of volunteers that we had, or community people that we had, just about this issue of literacy. And the issue of literacy nationwide since COVID is worse. I think nearly 2/3 of kids are not reading at grade level when tested in the 3rd grade. And that's a problem, right? So they thought, well, how do we do this? In 2014, the book project was founded, and in January 29th of 2015, we launched, opened our doors. And the idea at first was that teachers would come in and choose the books for their students based on genre and reading level and interest, so that they could learn to love reading. Because, I mean, my goodness, I think about children's books when I was a kid and how much
Well, I wanted to ask you
that I
about
love.
that. You talk about that love of reading. And Francine, I know you were a teacher. Can you talk about what books meant to you personally as a little girl growing up?
As a little girl, I can remember reading the Nancy Drew mysteries.
I read the Hardy Boys.
And I mean, it just meant a lot to be able to get into that instead of sitting in front of a TV, get into the book and imagine, what Nancy Drew was going through. How was she going to solve this crime? But, and then I took that into the classroom. So.
And how did you see the impact it had on kids in terms of, like you said, in the classroom and the access to books?
Access to books is important, especially nowadays, like Aaron said, with technology. I have an 8-year-old grandson, and just getting him to like books.
It's a challenge. I have a 16-year-old high schooler, and it's TikTok, it's it's
YouTube.
Steam, it's video games.
Yes.
Aaron, what about you? Was there a particular love of reading or particular books
Yes.
that
So when I was really little, there were 2 books. As a matter of fact, when I still had them when we got the book project off the ground. One called Jennifer and Josephine, which is about a cat and a car. And the second one was Miss Jaster's Garden, which was about a hedgehog. And I love those books, and I read them over and over again. They're beautiful illustration. And then I love them so much that after I donated them, I went and bought some more because they were just wonderful. And you carry these stories, right? So you identify with the character, you see yourself in the characters, they go on adventures, whether it's the Boxcar Kids or Harry Potter or some other children's book, it just expands your mind. I mean, there is no movie that can meet what you see in your mind, right? And so it's that joy that we're trying to instill in kids. So last year we gave out 20,000 books. Now
where did the books come from?
So they come from generous donors and people who donate books and donate money so that we can buy books at a deep discount. So we search high and low for finding the greatest deals, and Francine is the master at that. So talk about the process of our books and what we do.
A lot of our books come from retired teachers. And so when those books come into our possession, we have to clean them. You have to remove all the stickers. We can't give a child a book that is used that they're going to just look at it and, well, I don't want that
Right,
book
marked
because
up
it's
and-
used. Right. So we have to clean them. We have to remove the stickers. We wipe them down. And then we go through them and we level them and put them, according to grade levels. So when we do take them to the schools, the kids know, oh, I'm a second grader, I'm going to look at the second grade books.
It's not just a pile,
Right.
Exactly.
of, hey, just
Exactly.
pick something that, has a nice cover.
Yes. And they are by genre too. So some kids might really be interested in dinosaurs, or they might be really interested in trucks and trains, or history, or...
Well, do you find that's important? I've found in the past that sometimes you literally just shove one book into a kid's hand. Instead, it's like, no. Let the kid discover what they might like. And if I like books about wizards, well, then you might like a book about magic. You might not like a book about spaceships, you
Right.
know?
Right. Well, and Francine can definitely talk about that, as she helps us, because she helps the kids find the books when they come
What
to the
is some
book
of the
giveaway.
feedback you get from the kids who receive
and
these
I'll
books?
cry again. Most of our kids are from low-income houses, and they don't have books at home. So a joy that they get when they get to receive a book and they realize they don't have to pay for it. It's theirs to keep forever. One child said just a couple of weeks ago, "This is the best day of my life." It's amazing. Sorry.
What does it mean to you
It
to
means
have
the
that
world.
kind of impact?
It
And to
means
see that impact, not just to know that you're having the impact, but to literally see it.
We want the kids, and this is what drives all of us. We want the kids, number one, to know that they're important and that people are here to give something to them just because we love them as humans, as kids, and we see their potential. To me, it means I loved books growing up. My living room I turned it into a library because we've got probably 2,000 books in my living room. And it's been such a part of me that I want to share it. And I want them to receive what will excite them. Again, you mentioned wizards, and if that's their thing, then let's read The Lord of the Rings. If you like magic, let's read Harry Potter, or whatever is age appropriate or appropriate for that child. It opens the world for them. And for all of us, we're as volunteers doing this work for that, to give them that gift. And then looking forward, if you can't read in our economy, our information economy, you are locked out. And so how do you get people starting to read? Well, you get them reading something they want to read. And for some kids, it's we've had graphic novels that kids want, and if that's the start, then that's fine. Because it's getting them to read and to love stories that are told, well, in a way that they get the pictures in their mind instead of somebody giving it to them on a screen.
When we come back, we'll hear how to contribute to this wonderful organization, the Inland Empire Children's Book Project, right after this.
The City of San Bernardino has implemented a new low-cost sidewalk vending program in hopes of expanding opportunity for community members to start sidewalk vending safely and lawfully. We want everyone to have access to the economic benefits that sidewalk vending brings, but we want to make sure that our sidewalk vendors know the do's and don'ts when it comes to our city. We must make sure that vendors are keeping our residents safe by following general health and safety standards and by following all city rules. Like, did you know to legally sidewalk vend in the City of San Bernardino, you'll need a seller's permit? What about the $1 million general liability insurance that you are required to have? Don't let this scare you. When all is said and done, the cost of the annual permit will either be $64 or $154. We want to help in every way we can when it comes to vendors lawfully running and growing their small businesses. But those who operate without the proper permits can and will be cited. Citations can run anywhere from 100 to a misdemeanor, and repeated violations can result in the confiscation of items needed to sidewalk vend. We do not want this to be you. So, if you have any questions or concerns regarding the new sidewalk vending program, please call us at 909-384-5035, where staff will help you navigate your way to becoming a safe and permitted vendor in our city.
Well, I'm talking with Francine March and Aaron Brinker from the Inland Empire Children's Book Project, which has as its mission to get books into the hands of kids in the San Bernardino City and Rialto Unified School Districts. More than 100,000 books distributed since its founding. Tell me about your need for donors, for volunteers. You're an all-volunteer organization. How can people help?
Volunteering is great. We always need books, but we also need dollars to purchase books. So we just Francine found a discount on Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, which the kids absolutely
remember those.
love. And so we're not really getting that kind of book donated, so we have to find it and purchase it. And so those dollars are help us to do that, to find the books that the kids really want. If you have a library, a children's library, maybe your kids have grown and gone off to college, we'd love to have your books.
So don't give them to Goodwill.
Don't give them to Goodwill, give them to us. And we also need people to host maybe a fundraiser or a book drive at their business.
I was surprised to hear this. You talked about that you can provide tips on how to run a successful book drive
Yes.
and how to make posters and how,
Yes.
even arrange to come pick the books up.
Yes. Yes, we make it as easy as we possibly can. We also have had corporations that partner with us. They'll do a book cleaning and a book drive event at their company, and so they wear their corporate shirts and they come out for a day. We take some great pictures and they clean a ton of books. In September,
So it's a win-win.
We had 3
the
companies
employees
come
feel
out.
great that they did a great thing for a day.
Yes.
It benefits a child.
Yes.
You've been doing this for a while now. Have you had kids who have grown up and have come back and said what it meant to them?
We have not, but we don't track the kids. We track the books.
Okay.
And so, and our first model before COVID was that the books were actually given, the teachers would then give the books to the kids. And so the kids associated the gift of the book with the teachers. That model changed after COVID as we moved into a smaller space and as the needs of the school districts changed. And so we haven't had an opportunity for someone who associates our organization with getting those books. They've not grown up enough to come back.
Where would you like to see it grow? Obviously, you've been around for a number of years now. You survived COVID. You're thriving. Is there a place you'd like to take it? Well,
Don't ask me. You don't want to know
So
what.
it's really about school district partners. So we're
Okay.
looking, and how Rialto we started in San Bernardino, how we've grown in Rialto is that we have champions in the district, teachers who want to get books to kids. And so it's about building a team of volunteers in that particular district. In Rialto, we're not housed at a school as we are in San Bernardino. We're housed at the union office. And so we would love to grow. We've gotten some requests from various schools in Riverside County and San Bernardino County, and we are happy to talk to them about how to grow, how to build a team, and to support them in that because we are 100% volunteer. We do have long-term plans to be able to hire professional staff, but at the moment we are chugging along with volunteers and doing a great job. Like I'm not sure if I mentioned, but we gave out 20,000 books last year alone, and so I need to update that 100,000. We're probably close to 150 now,
Wow.
but we're just.
Well, let's make sure before I let you go, we let people know how they can get involved. What's the website? What's the phone number? Is there an email address?
So yes, you can go to info, this is the email address, info@IECBP, Inland Empire Children's Book Project, IECBP.org. Our website is IECBP.org, and there's all the ways you can plug in there. So if you want to, the phone number's there, obviously the email address is there, and you can find all the things that we're doing, and please get engaged.
Donate, volunteer,
Yes.
do what you can. Erin, Francine, thank you so much for being on the program, and thank you for what you do for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Visit iealive.com.